purpose of this storefront is to begin to help us as a department engage better with the community. The long-term outcomes, depending upon how it all works, would be to be able to have a sort of permanent facility where we could run both internships as well as employment opportunities during the semester where students could be working on projects, as well as obviously classroom stuff. So the idea of this storefront is obviously with COVID issues, it gives us a place to have larger meetings. There's been 2 meetings in here already with the 3rd year is done, in which we've had over 40 people, and we can accommodate that in a safe distance approach. So we really like this facility, and it will begin to evolve, hopefully with as displays of all kinds of projects, not just only Ball State projects, but all kinds of community projects that are underway. So we want to continue to build this as a destination for people to come and get information and learn not only about what we do, but also overall what is happening in Muncie. So today, your little exhibit, we've invited the mayor and we've invited the neighborhood folks to come by. We're doing this obviously as gallery style, which means you're standing by your project and answering questions.
Hello, my name is Elise Jones, and I am part of the PLAN202 Studio. We're going to run through the old store site. Some things I found really important on the site was obviously the floodplain on the lower half, as well as flooding from Mansfield Drive. And then also current uses of the site include a ball diamond over here, as well as some paths along the side here. Existing trees was thought about to keep or not, and views as well of the lower elevation on the lower site here. Moving up to my design for my master plan here, I did keep all the residential homes in the northern portion just to protect them from that floodplain. To attack the flood issues of Mansfield Drive, I implemented a dry bed, 2 of them actually, that would run north, south, and down into this retention pond. The dry bed will be a collection of rocks and other natural plants that would just soak up the water, but also take it down and just completely fix that issue for the current residents as well as future residents of the site. I do have a playground that would be mostly natural features, kind of a natural playground, both sustainable and low budget as well. And then dry bed here just kind of shows how sidewalk borders the dry bed, leading all the way down to the southern portion of the site.
So there's really more information, and
the elevations here show kind of how the dry bed works. It's lower, comes down and collects that water and brings it where it needs to be and not on the street. And this kind of shows how it turns from residential down to open space for all the residents in the area. Aerial here shows detail of the pond and how the residents can interact with it through the sidewalk. And then the houses on the northern portion, they just stay away from that floodplain, and also how it just kind of matches the neighborhood, and to deviate a little bit and try something new, but to match the context of the site. So that was my design process and how I try to attack current issues, but also create a new community.
Hello, my name's Enzo, and right over here is my project for the store elementary site. First, I want to introduce you to the site analysis and the details of the site. What's very important about the site is the slope over here, the topography, where the slope goes from high to low. Mansfield Drive is up north over here, and then the topography slowly slopes down over here. Characteristic and concern that the community had was the materiality and how they development would fit into the context of the site. So I included a little graphic here where all of these elements and materials would be used in the new development houses. So taking that into account, we'll move to our site plan here. So the site plan has 24 ranch houses, a little pocket neighborhood, which I'll explain later, and a smaller scale senior living center, along with a retention pond and a neighborhood park over here. And then we move into the neighborhood park over here, which would be a new amenity for the neighborhood. There is also a trail on the master plan that goes from the existing neighborhood all the way down to the retention pond. And now the retention pond, as you see in the plan, would catch water runoff from the new development. See the arrows. And also, if we go down to section D right here, there's 3 steps to the retention pond. Step 1 is the runoff flows into the pond. It gets cleaned and cleansed by native plants that we plant there. And then the final step would be the water slowly seeping back into the creek. So this retention pond would not only increase the property values around for the development around the neighborhood, it would also take care of some of the flooding issues and problems that current residents experience. The other feature that I want to note is the pocket neighborhood, as we saw. There are 9 of those small cottage-style houses. If we go down to the isometric view right here, you can see a more detailed picture. So I decided to add these cottage-style homes because they only make the area more affordable, but they're also very attractive for empty nesters and seniors who are retired. And these pocket neighborhoods, the best thing about them is that they give a more intimate sense of a community. And so to wrap it up, the development really does seek to provide a more intimate sense of neighborhood while giving new residents and existing residents more amenities to enjoy and hopefully live a better and healthy lifestyle. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Snowden, and today we will be looking at the store site. So here, as you see, this is the analysis of the site as we have it now. You have a parking lot, you have the sun orientation here, and you have the wind direction blowing from southwest to northeast. And so coming up here, this is my site proposal. I decided to go with the low density proposal with 27 units as a whole. As you can see, I have highlighted the parcels in hot pink so that it's easy to read. I have 2 parks for the lower age demographic. These houses are all single family use. And one thing to go against the flooding problem is the retention pond that I decided to add. As you can see, through this cross-section cut here in the first one, it goes pretty low, and then it not intersects, but the cross-section goes through the creek as well. Trees are placed around it to help soak up part of the flooding, and over here, this is the second section, which is illustrated down here. This shows going this way, the west side. And then coming over here to the perspectives. This perspective A shows a look at the first park over here in the middle. And what you can see is this is a more higher up park, so it's more playground, so it's more used for older children demographic. And over here at perspective B, this is a lower playground, so it's more used for smaller children demographic.
Hi, my name is Madison Lindsay, and my studio has been tasked with looking at developing the Old Store Elementary School site. As you can see here, I've done a site analysis of it, looking at the northern winds, the sun, and as you can see here, I have the 3 main roads, Mansfield, Riley, and Euclid running this direction. to kind of orient you on the site a little bit. So as you can see down here, I've created a marsh area to deal with that flooding, as well as a drainage solution coming down from the Mansfield Road up here to go into the marsh area. I've also included some duplexes, single-family housing, and triplexes in this region. And over to the west of Euclid, baseball field with some parking for those who may not live in the neighborhood, some parks, basketball courts, and a rain garden where people may even have the opportunity to grow their own herbs and vegetables, as well as just relax and go around the design trail for the site and that flows through the marsh and rain garden areas. I really hope the community enjoys this presentation and that they're excited about all the opportunities it may have. These are also some more detailed drawings about some of the housing and a few elevations to show what it would look like if you were looking as if you cut into the earth onto some of the housing and the playground, and this is a street that would run through the site as well. Thank you so much.
Really good. So easy.
Hi, I'm Lohren Deeg. I'm a second year here at Ball State University, and this is my idea of the storage site. So down here for the information of the site analysis, it is a very open area up here with a bit of cluttered trees originally, but this place here is now smallish. A really big important part to keep in mind with this plan is this huge flooding plain right here. Thanks to this river down here that's also runoff from the Ball State University. With their Cardinal Creek and Duck Pond. So like this place gets flooded terribly when it heavy storms in Ball State because of all the runoff here. Up to the plan, we got all of this residential space, and this is single-family unit homes. It will be a medium density area, but this building right here is going to fit the neighborhood really well because it is a community building. See this right here, using that open space, wide openness, green grass for them to play in the field, pick anything they want to do. And down to the residential area, you see it is pretty good spaced out. You see the little community building down there. It will be a walkability place, but also you can use your car. You can see here, it's a pretty even spacing out. So you got all the space for the people to live and all this space for the animals to live to create the harmony, the biodiverse area in this neighborhood.
Hello, I'm Matthew Patel, and this is the Store Elementary site. The site is located 1 mile west of Ball State, with the creek on the south side, Mansfield Drive to the north. Because of the creek, flooding is a big problem. The creek originates from Ball State's campus, and that's where a lot of Ball State stormwater goes. So during a rainfall event, this could get pretty bad, flood covering nearly half the site. So to deal with that flooding, I have a wetland feeding into the creek to slow water down and store it for a while before flooding gets too bad, and a retention pond to help deal with more flooding that can encroach on the site. So I established connections from Euclid Avenue and Brentwood Lane, and engaged the water features with a path connected from this bridge in the southeast corner up to the northeast corner of the site. So perspective 1 is located right here on the plan. It's just a view of the apartment buildings to the quadplex far in the back. And the perspective 2 is located right here. You see more quadplexes and a retention pond in the back.
Hello, so this is my Story Elementary School redevelopment plan. And to start off, I'll show you the context of where the location is. It's the yellow box, and it shows a relative graph of how close it is to Ball State University and the York Prairie Creek that flows from Ball State into the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is currently zoned as a R2, which is low density housing. And then to carry on to the next portion, here's my redevelopment idea. I wanted to create a central business district in the center that could offer some small grocery or pharmacy type of businesses, because I noticed for the walkability score is rather low and everyone seems to be very dependent on their cars to get everything. I also wanted to address the missing middle housing in Muncie. So this has like apartments above it on the top 2 floors, and these are just regular apartments and row houses, and then single family all the way around. The plan is to go from 3 floors down to a 2-floor or 1-floor house at the outer edge, to help it blend into the community a bit smoother than just a rough cutoff. You can see that from the isometric and the perspective images. So the central business district perspective up here is from an angle over here. It's this point, and then it just shows what the area should look like with street parking and 2 lanes of traffic and large sidewalks. And then lower down here is what the single family housing has to offer at up here. So just shows you what your hopeful average suburban row would look like. And
hello, my name is Adam Folsom. I'm working on the Store Elementary site, changing it to more of a residential community site. So we start with the analysis of the site, how it is right now, on Riley and Mansfield Road and Drive. The main problem is the flooding, which you can see right here, and we'd be addressing that in the plan. There are a couple entryways on the east side of the site and one on the west side, but that's kind of closed off. So as we move up to the master plan, you can see that I included many different ways of living, starting with the extension here of this road, which will include single family living, and then as you move in, a new entire road will have to be built here, which connects in, which will have quadplexes or duplexes for multiple family living. And then in the big area here would be senior living facility for older folks who need. And I think it's just a great way to incorporate multiple different ways of living and give a safer space and a close community area. Thank you.
I'm Kayla Leach, and this is my store code. And from this, I decided to make these. So I have about 32 homes. This is double-story family homes on both of these. These are both ranch style, and then these are single-story families. And these were the fences for the different homes, and just to separate it. Then this is my community area. I chose to do a retention pond to help with the flooding, and a lot of trees that also helped. And it has seating and all that kind of stuff to help people enjoy it a little more than just flooding. And I incorporated a gazebo to just help with like community events. There can be events that raise money or just people enjoying the area too. And then there was a playground that I try to make for all ages, just more enjoyable for little kids and also older kids to enjoy and have somewhere to go in the area that is not dangerous and it's fun for families.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee Slate, and this is my store site proposal. First off, we're going to start down here with the site analysis. There is, as you can see, a lot of flooding on the south end of the site. Therefore, keeping a green, open space and adding a retention pond is very useful in that case. And then the top half is very kind of dry, which is where all the homes can be put on. And then up here we have an added retention pond for the flooding. I also went with the creek. I wanted to kind of clean it out and expand the width of it in order for better water flow. I planned on adding a lot of sidewalks, not only along the streets with the homes, but also having trails around the pond and access
access to the children's park. With the children's park, I also wanted to make sure that it was ADA accessible. And then over here, that's just showing you the kind of like views that you'll get with those prime real estate homes. And then up here, this is just a view of Kinsey Street. That is what I named that street going along right there, because that is going to be one of the main streets within this whole site. And then this is the children's park. And you can kind of see this is a ramp, so ADA accessible. So it's ADA accessible. And that is my site proposal.
I'm Michael Grosseklaus, and this is my store site. Right here, you can see Ball State University is about 1 mile from the site, and the site is around 18.5 acres large. Currently, this is an R2 zone. I will file a planned unit development to make this possible, to make an R3 zoning. Right here on my site analysis, you can see the sun path going from east to west. Right here is my isometric view rendering of my site. Right here you can see the paths, how they connect, and right here how the paths connect to the existing neighborhoods around it. On my plan, I have 24 triplexes, 52 townhouses, and 6 apartment buildings. For my section, I decided to go right down the middle to show how the apartments and triplexes interacted with each other. And right here you can see how they flow down south towards the retention pond.